morning. Welcome back to Daybreak. It's now 17 minutes past, to 7 o'clock, and I'm with some very interesting gentlemen and lady here in studio. I want to introduce them, starting with Dr. Chris Omala, the Member of Parliament for Kiminini constituency. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
We have Rosa Boyu, the Member of Parliament for Kisumu County. She's the woman representative there. Welcome back. We have Senator Irungu Kangata of Murang'a County. Welcome back. And I have Joshua Kipto, the Speaker of Nandi County, joining us from Eldoret in Uasin Gishu. Good morning, Speaker, and welcome to the show. Let me begin with you, Senator. I mean, it's been long. I've not seen you with us. What have you been up to lately? We've not seen you so much in our studios. Senator?
He doesn't even know you're talking to him.
Yeah, sorry? Oh, sorry.
Uda is absent-minded.
I'm starting with you and asking, because I've not seen you in a long time, what have you been up to lately?
No, I've been pushing the UDA agenda in Murang'a County. And we are so happy that the Deputy President was in Murang'a on Sunday at a place called Maragua. We went to Sabasaba PCA. Then I took him to various stops within Maragua constituency.
Right.
And the message that he has been delivering to the people of Murang'a is very positive in terms of what is the agenda for the Murang'a people, particularly what we call the county UDA agenda. The health care. Yeah, we want to uplift the health care of Murang'a County. We want to give out free cards for National Hospital Insurance Fund to various households which cannot afford that card. The second issue we want to do for the people of Murang'a, if elected on UDA, is the issue concerning guaranteed minimum return for various agricultural products which our people grow.
Okay.
And finally, what we call Ward Development Fund. We want to ensure every ward in Murang'a County gets equitable development. So those are the issues that we are selling to Murang'a people over the weekend.
Okay, all right. We'll talk about that later on, because the Deputy President says that he has not been campaigning. He's been listening to the people as his mandate allows him to. But let me look at the front pages of the two dailies. On the front page of the Daily Nation, you'll see that inside Raila and Ruto plot to block defectors. Losers in party primaries will be time-barred from running as independent candidates if party chiefs exploit fresh, tight election timelines. For DP Ruto and ODM Chief Odinga, this is good news in regions where party tickets have attracted intense competition. Then you'll see two images of Raila Odinga in West Pokot. That was yesterday. And DP Ruto addressing journalists at his current office yesterday, of course, as he chaired the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council. Then on the front page of the Standard, you'll see Raila in Pokot as Ruto chairs key meeting. Of course, a similar story with what is on the Nation. Then there's a story of mystery girl with 100 million shilling gift. Well, it's confusing. I've never touched such kind of money. So in just 3 days, Felicitas' account grew from 0 to over 100 million shillings, courtesy of a Belgian boyfriend for her financial security and their future children. And so many other stories that you see on the two dailies. And let me begin with you, Dr. Chris Omala. When you look at all these conversations and the plans to even talk about the conversation around climate change to headland governance devolution, what are you priding yourself in when you look at how far you've come as a country? Of course, 7th Devolution Conference, but also sort of the 8th year, and you're approaching a transition election where you'll see several governors leaving office. I think about 21 are serving their second term. Then the other 26, most of them will be seeking re-election. What comes to mind as you reflect on this, just some 8 months to re-election?
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. First and foremost, of course, we pride our constitution. The critical thing is devolution. But the question is, have Kenyans enjoyed the true fruits of devolution? We have some counties which have done pretty well. For instance, before I joined politics, I was one of the European Union consultants, and one time I had visited Northeastern. There was no inch of tarmac road. And right now, when you go to Northeastern province, you can see they have tarmac roads. At least they can smile that we've seen the fruits of devolution.
Right.
Unlike other counties, for instance, when I talk about Trans Nzoia, particularly the county I come from, we've not truly seen the fruits of devolution. When you look at the issue of the roads, the farmers, in terms of their returns, they are wallowing in poverty. So there's still so much that needs to be done. The issue of devolution was a wonderful idea, but also when it comes to matters of corruption, you find that corruption has been devolved even to the counties. So really, I think that at a time like this, when they're having this devolution conference and the theme being the climatic change, how I wish that when they look at this and they come up with those resolutions, they should be able to be implemented. Okay. Because to me, devolution was a wonderful idea, but the Kenyans have not really benefited much from the fruits of devolution. One of the challenges has been poor leadership, issues of corruption in the counties. We've also had challenges in terms of the cooperation between the national government and the county government. Right now, we have droughts. His Excellency, the President, declared drought as a national disaster. But not much has been done, because when you declare national disaster, I remember the Moi days, it should be followed with a clear focus in terms of resource mobilization. It is very, very unfortunate to see Kenyans are dying. And I'm happy, yesterday I listened to Professor Kobia, the CS for public service. The issue of the cash transfer. To me, it's a wonderful idea. When you go to many other countries, actually, that's what they do. When you give food, you've seen many people, we have had a lot of corruption cases around the issues of distribution of food. But when you give that direct transfer to that particular family, they can be able to use that money for issues to do with maybe healthcare, issues with food. At times you give rice and maybe people don't want to have rice. Right. So it's good to give that cash transfer, and how I wish that the people involved in that particular structure, they should be able to expedite this so that we can serve Kenyans. It's actually the responsibility of the government to feed its people.
And Speaker Kipto, of course, I think this is your first time that you're serving. Correct me if I'm wrong. And many have said that one of the challenges is when it comes to oversight, when it comes to independence of institutions, that sometimes you'll see the assemblies quite getting along with their executives, not because of they're doing the right thing, but because there has been what you may call collusion. When you look ahead, as you go through this transition, what are the specific areas that in your view need to be fixed or changed a little bit to ensure that we have better fruits when it comes to the oversighting role of county assemblies?
Thank you very much, Sam. Now, one thing I want to just appreciate is that devolution has been a governance game changer to the people of Kenya, because that is the first time we are talking about devolved resources. Kenyans previously were used to seeing government way up there, and the only symbol of government at the local level was provincial administration, which didn't come with any form of resource. It was basically brute force. You would see the government power through the chiefs, the sub-chiefs, but the devolved units are now offering real services to the people. I agree with Dr. Chris Wamalwa that the issue would be, can we do better from here? And that is a reality. I can give the counties an average score. Some counties are above average, quite a number are below average. Now, when you talk about the county assemblies play a critical role on matters oversight. We've had 2 assemblies. I'm humbled to serve in the 2nd County Assembly of Nandi, and we want to appreciate the first assemblies because they are the ones who are setting up the structures. And if you look at the laws that were adopted in the 1st County Assembly by the national government, especially the Senate and the National Assembly, there was a feeling that the county assemblies do not have the capacity or the ability to oversight. But that has changed. When you talk about the 2nd County Assemblies, we've been able to settle in, we've been able to clearly understand our mandate. But the challenges still abound as to our ability to exercise oversight independently. One of the biggest challenge remains our financial autonomy. We are still hamstrung by the county executive. You can imagine, as a speaker or as a clerk of a county assembly, we must get approval of the CC Finance. Now, when you are at loggerheads with the county executive, and that is expected because the county assemblies are the ones oversighting the county executive, and that is the case. I'm happy you have the MPs on set. You can imagine if National Assembly has to beg the county whatever the national executive for their money, it would mean they cannot be able to undertake. I have a keen example. If you come to my county assembly of Nandi, we have a development project that we should have finished by 2018. But because of our strict oversight against the government of His Excellency Governor Sang, we've been able to be blocked for almost 2 years. Machakos County Assembly were forced to go to court literally to assess their salaries sometime in 2018, simply because the county assembly and the county executive could not agree. So that means that the governor and the county executive still have a lot of influence and are able to ride roughshod over the county assemblies. But I would say that we've tried, we've been able to legislate, we've been able to bring the concept of public participation closer to the people, and people understand that oversight is a collective effort of the county assemblies as well as the public. The only thing remaining for county assemblies, if we can be able to achieve financial autonomy, but importantly, the MCAs to take up their space, because quite a number of MCAs still also fear the governor because the power of resources. The county budget, if the MPs are aware, assemblies can only alter 10% of the budget, which means 90% of the budget is dictated by the county executive led by the governor. So that places the MCAs at a place of fear, and most MCAs fear that if they go against the county executive, maybe development projects may not happen. I want to agree with Senator Irengo Kangata. The next county assemblies must come with a concept of ward development, where there is autonomy, and each ward representative will be assured of development in his ward or her ward, so that we cannot be hamstrung by the county executive. But as my overall remark would be, county assemblies have tried above average. All right, Speaker, I'll give you another opportunity to reflect on this, because it's interesting that on the panel I have 4 members of parliament, 3 members of parliament and a speaker. 2 members of parliament are aspiring to be governors of their respective counties, Dr. Chris Omala, Trans Nzoia, Dr. Irungu Kangata, Murang'a, and then Speaker Joshua Kipto is eyeing to be governor of Nandi County. So it's pretty interesting to have this conversation. But Honorable Rose Abui, I don't know whether you
must change to be a governor now.
And myself as well. So I don't know, when you reflect on this, because next year there have to be elections across the different counties, and from the lessons we learned in the first term, where we saw about 25 governors losing their seats, which they were seeking to defend, and now some are finishing their tenure, their 2 terms in 2022. What is this that you're thinking that the 10 years of devolution have lacked, that now we need to fix? Because you hear Speaker Kipto, they are talking about financial autonomy, which obviously you don't have a problem with at the National Assembly or even at the Senate. So what are your thoughts in fixing this through the election of next year?
Thank you. I think, like Mheshimiwa Chris has already said, devolution was the best gift that Kenyans ever had. But like you're pointing out, many Kenyans have been disillusioned with devolution. Not because it's a bad thing, but because of how it's been impacted or affected by the executives or the governors who are in charge of devolution in the counties. And I think the biggest problem is the inappropriate mix in terms of a budget mix. And if you look at the report on implementation of budget 2020-2021 by the controller of budgets, you see that in many of the counties, the mix is totally wrong. And I will talk about Kisumu County, where I come from. In Kisumu County, out of 12 billion, you'll see that 8 billion goes for recurrent, and only 4 billion goes for development. The impact of devolution will only be experienced by the people of that county if more money is put under development. So when the mix is wrong, the people then do not enjoy the full benefits of devolution. You will also find that in the same report, for example, for Kisumu County, too many projects have stalled. So there is that thing of coming up with new projects all the time without actually completing the projects that have already been initiated. When you do that, too much money is spread too thin across too many projects without the projects coming into completion, and the end result is that people then do not see the actual, do not feel the actual benefit of devolution. So those are some of the key issues that have to be looked at, and any governor, my 2 friends, who want to be governors must actually ensure that if they initiate a project, let that project be complete so that the people of that county can enjoy its benefits before you coming up with other projects. I will talk about, currently in Kisumu County, we have a situation, for example, where we have, we had a lot of mass movement or eviction of traders, small traders from markets and from anywhere in the pavements of the town where they were actually selling their wares and earning a living. And the hope was, when you evict people from markets, for example, you must put up the type of markets you want.
Right.
So that they can enjoy the benefits of this enhanced devolution. But you find that people were moved from where they were doing their businesses, they were moved from the markets which they were occupying, but up to now, those markets have not been complete. So everybody who was earning a living through selling their wares in those markets, in open-air markets, are actually hanging with nowhere to carry out their businesses. End result is you have desperate people who have no means of income, and in the end, crime is also escalated.
Right.
So I think that...
And Honorable Buyu, because your county is one of those that had a transition. The first governor, Ranguma, did not make it to the second term.
Yes.
And I remember speaking to Governor Anne Waiguru and asking her what she inherited from the first governor of Kirinyaga, and she was like, there was not so much, really, there was no particular blueprint to work on. What challenges have you seen that you would say were occasioned by the change in regime of a governor who had set out to do a few things within 5 years, then time lapses, then did you see any hiccups in transitioning?
Yes, like in all positions, if you have, for example, I'm a woman representative of Kisumu County, so I've got projects that I'm currently doing. Should I not be in that position in the next, after next year's general election, and the person who comes after me chooses to forget about all my projects and start new ones, the end result actually is people will not have benefited from the projects that I had commissioned, and there will be a lot of time before they can actually benefit from the next person's project. So there must be continuity, because the people are the same. The needs of the people are the same. The money or the budget is the same. So if you don't continue, for example, if there were worth it projects geared to help or to enhance the lives of the people, and you don't continue with them, it only means that a lot of money goes to waste, and a lot of time also goes to waste, and people therefore do not benefit from devolution. So it is true that there must be continuity. Projects that have actually been done or initiated by a governor, a current governor, if they were geared towards improving the lives of the people, must actually be carried to fruition. Okay. Because when you stop, then what happens? It's a stalled project that has eaten all the money. So in the end, people just do not see the benefits of devolution.
And Senator Kangata, you're one of those politicians who has served just one term at every level that they have been elected to, from councillor to member of parliament, member of National Assembly to Senate, and now you're seeking to be a governor. But you see, those positions could be different because of their role. But when it comes to governorship, it's something that obviously you'd want continuity. So what are you putting in place so that once you're elected, you're able to continue with what Governor Mwangi wa Iria may have started but not finished, but also you yourself, you have your own ambitions and aspirations, so that you're also able to achieve them within the 5 years mandate?
First, I think those other places that I've served, they have given me some kind of experience which will be important if given the chance to serve as a governor for Murang'a. Reason being that if you are a councillor, you tend to interact with the people, you know how councils operate, and counties are nothing but councils with enhanced roles and financial muscles. In the National Assembly, you tend to superintend CDF, and ultimately as a governor, you will definitely do so. And as a senator, you are able to see the gaps and the problems that the counties do at times get into, and you're able, therefore, to get good skills on how a good county should be operated. Be that as it may, some of the areas definitely that a governor from Murang'a needs to do to assist his people will be in the area of the healthcare. One, there were some areas which were owing to the healthcare staff after they had gone for a strike for about 6 months. They were not paid. I think a new governor needs to consider paying those arrears. Secondly, and most importantly, is the issue of the health coverage, the insurance card coverage. You will find that according to 2019 census, only Murang'a has about 318,000 households. But when you look at the data for the medical insurance coverage, it's only about 40,000 that have that medical insurance card. I would imagine a good governor needs to enhance that number to reach at least about 150,000 households that needs to get that card. And therefore, I think a good Murang'a County government need to set aside some funds which are going to definitely cater for the poor households. They get that card.
That's interesting, because it should sound like a pitch for the people of Murang'a, but the practical situation of like Governor Waiguru didn't find a blueprint, comes into office. Of course, there's some things that the first governor may have been doing, but certain things are lost. If you have to look at the national level, the projects that President Kibaki had started, a significant number of them have been followed to conclusion by the current regime. So as a senator, what is it that you have done to ensure that there is continuity through transition?
There is something called the County Development Plan. It is usually crafted by a sitting governor to plan what are the areas of interventions that governor is going to do once he's in office. It is usually on a 5-year cycle, and definitely a good governor who is coming to office, he needs to look at that document, see whether you are going to continue with that document. It's a statutory document. And of course, you have that leeway to amend it as you wish if you think there are gaps.
Okay.
And therefore, direct answer to your question is a good governor who will get into office in the year 2022, he needs to appraise himself with that county development plan, which currently is in place. Then you do an evaluation and see, do you want to continue with it? Do you want to amend it? What are the gaps? What are the shortfalls?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, what about you do what we call you audit that plan? You see to what extent it was unable to meet the needs of the people of your county. Yes.
And Speaker, as you exit from this conversation, what has been your experience in Nandi County that also transitioned in 2017, and what would you recommend that counties do so that there's no loss of resources, but also no loss of time, because candidate campaigns making promises, but also tied to what he's saying, appraising yourself with what has been going on?
Thank you very much. Now, the first thing I want to say that there is no county government that took over another without a plan. Each county, as per the law, County Government Act, as well as the PFM Act, requires a county government to run on a county integrated development plan. So when Nandi County government came in 2017, we were picking up from the former governor, that is His Excellency Cleophas Lagat. Now, my experience has been this, and this will be the advice I'll be giving. We have governors retiring, we have first-timer governors that may fall in the ballot. What counties need to do is that we must have seamless transition. Seamless transition requires 4 components. The first component is that we must appreciate the structures that exist, but importantly improve. You will find, for example, in Nandi County, the first county governor, the first county government did not as much put in structures in terms of the sub-county level and at the ward level. And it was the expectation that His Excellency Stephen Sang would come and put up structures, but it has been a spectacular failure, because when you talk about offices, we have not even been able to do our own county office. We are squatting at a national government facility. The county assembly has tried to put up a structure that we should have finished by 2018 or 2019, except for the blockages of funds by the county executive. So the first thing the county government should do, pick up from where the other left in terms of putting up structures, improving the structures. Number 2, value for projects. Remember, the citizens of a particular locality or an area remain the same, whether there's a new governor or another governor comes into play. So when you pick up a project that was left by your predecessor, kindly proceed. I'm promising this, and I've been telling Nandi County residents that the third county government of Nandi must start with the projects of the first county government, pick up the second county government projects, and for the second county government projects, there are so many that will never be completed. In fact, all the major infrastructure projects started by His Excellency Stephen Sang are not likely to be concluded as at the time we'll be going for the next elections in April or in August 2022. So the first thing is we have to pick from there, conclude them. In fact, my proposal is the first 1 year, work to finish all the existing projects. Remember the biggest pending issue of pending bills. Ensure the first 1 year, come up with a proposal with the contractors, pay them, because that will create liquidity. It will create confidence to contractors to even undertake new projects knowing that they'll be paid. Number 3, which is more important,
Speaker, just hold
my
on.
experience has been counties are doing more infrastructure at the expense of the service. So there is need for focus on the service, and that's why you hear about the bottom-up model. It is about economic empowerment. It's about
allow me to cut you short because we need to make progress. And the question that I'm talking about is because, I mean, you mentioned a few things